All right, everybody, welcome back for the second installment with First Calf Trucker. My name is Chris, and I am First Calf Trucker. This episode is going to be about the 5 things I wish I'd known I'd needed when I first went into OTR. So the first thing I would have to say is that a commercial trucking GPS unit is essential when you first go on the road. I figured my trainer would have had one, but this guy, that guy, he didn't even believe in having a GPS much of any type. In fact, he used his Verizon phone GPS unit because he'd been a trucker for 17 years, so he knew most of the routes himself already. So he didn't figure that the new guys might need one who were more adept to the technology. Instead, he spent most of his time sleeping, as you can see, when he was sitting in the passenger seat while I drove and really had no idea what I was doing. So this was the side I saw him the most. I didn't get to speak to him too much, and I pretty much had to just figure it out on my own and use his Verizon car-specific GPS to try and figure my way out and around. So the second item I would have to say that you need to bring with you is a Trucker Edition hand-free headset. The hands-free headsets are essential. When I started, I brought one, but I brought one of the little bitty earpiece ones that would barely even come out of your ear, but it wasn't real good at canceling out the noise. So when I first started, everybody couldn't understand what I was saying, and the battery would die so quick because it was only meant for like car travelers who were going to work. So when I first started talking to my girlfriend, when I bought a Blue Parrot one, which is the Trucker Edition one that I'm giving away at the end of January, she didn't even believe I was a truck driver at first because she couldn't hear the tractor in the background or the engine or the reefer unit or anything because it cancels so much noise that it was just perfect. Plus the thing has like a 3-day battery life on them. So even when you're using it, you can't even use up the whole battery in a single day. So those headsets are like essential to what you do every day. And it makes communication with your family 10 times easier. And again, I had to show videos of myself actually using it to have my girlfriend actually believe that I was using one. So it's a funny little tidbit story there. Third thing I'd have to say is a high quality flashlight. Now, when I started, I didn't think I needed one, right? That might seem like, obvious at this time, but I had the flashlight on my cell phone. I figured that would be good enough. And for the inside of your truck, that does pretty much everything you need, right? That's all you pretty much need. But when you're in a yard trying to find an empty trailer or a preloaded trailer that's dropped there for you, most of the trailers have like reflective lights on the numbers. So if you have a good handheld spotlight, then you can easily spot whichever trailer you're trying to find while you're driving around looking for it. You can hold the light up and shoot it out your window and see each trailer number as you drive by. The other second handy thing is that when you get out, you can see what, if you're dealing with reefer units, that you have a fuel tank on the side, you need to be able to see if your fuel level is high enough when you pick up that reefer unit that's loaded for you. So that thing helps you be able to see that needle in there in the middle of the night when you can't see it, because some of them don't have a glowing needle that shows how obvious the fuel level is or isn't in the middle of the night. And the third thing that's very useful about it is whenever you actually hook up your tractor to your trailer, you can see if the lockjaw actually locked around the kingpin. When you back your truck up into the trailer real quick, once you hear that lockjaw, it may or may not actually have gone around the kingpin. So you can set your tractor brake, you can get out, go underneath, and see by using your spotlight to see if the actual lockjaw is around the back of the kingpin. For the fourth item, I'd have to say a commercial grade deck brush would be an essential item that you'd need to bring with you. And the reason why I say this is because when I first got into the reefer fleets, and this is the same for dry van, you're going to have to clean out your trailer. You typically would have a trailer washout available nearby, but that's not always the case. Sometimes your driver manager sets you up with a load that is just a few miles down the road for your next pickup. Well, the next trailer wash, especially if you're in New England, it could be, back in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey. Some of the blue beacons aren't even up here in the New England area. So how do you clean out your trailer? Well, The first time, before I realized that deck brushes were pretty much anything that were essential on the road, I did it with my hands. I put on gloves and I hand swept the crap out of a trailer 53 feet. And that is not a fun task to do, much less that you have to keep going up and down it to do it to make sure you get everything out. So initially I bought lower residential grade ones. And those worked a good few times initially, but then they would crack. Because as soon as you put any pressure on them, so if you get like a piece of plywood stuck between the reefer beams at the bottom, once they get stuck, it's really hard to unlock those things from there unless you have like a commercial grade brush. So if you don't have a good strong brush and you're trying to push down on it real hard, you could break that deck brush you have, and then you're back to square one. You know, now you're using your hand with a deck brush end in your hand, trying to brush all the debris down and get it out before you get to your next shipping assignment. So long story short, make sure that you get yourself a commercial grade deck brush. For a fifth item, I had a little bit of trouble deciding what it would be because there's so many things that you really need on a truck, but for a top 5, this was one of the harder lessons I learned, is a second set of bedding for your sleeper. So when I first started, I brought a sleeping bag, and that worked out great for a little while. But if it was in the summer, the thing was, meant for temperatures lower than summer heat, so I'd be sweating like crazy. And then when it got too cold, it wasn't exactly a full winter sleeping bag, so I'd freeze my rear end off at night. So I upgraded to traditional bedding, linen covers for my mattress. But what I didn't realize is that, when you take it off to go wash it, when you wash your clothes, and you need to clean that thing, when you get back into your truck while you're waiting for that thing to dry, if you're not sitting in the truck stop and instead you're like planning your next trip or something, because the washing machines have like a timer thing that'll notify you on your cell phone at some stops that your laundry's done, or when you set your timer that the timer runs out, you need to go back in there. What do you sit on when you're back there in the meantime? If it's hot summer and you just walk from the truck stop back to your truck and you're sweating, and you hop in your bed, you could be sticking to your bed because it's covered in a plastic protective cover. So one little piece of extra advice, just bring a second set of bedding. So when you pull off that first one, you can put on a new one, and then you don't have to worry about it. Once you've washed that first one, you can pack it up and have it ready for the next time when you swap out the next time. Those are just the 5 things that I thought would be helpful. Obviously, they're not the only 5. So I'm opening up the discussion below for anyone who would like to tell rookie drivers or people who are coming into the industry some of their top 5s, or a single item that they think that I left out that would be important. So comment below, like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep trying to do these until I go through and do orientation myself here in another week. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.